Is Disney losing its magic? Hello, Culturians, and welcome to another episode of Excellence here on the Culture Casino channel, your source for the rational side of culture each and every day. Today, we're dissecting the once magical kingdom known as Disney and whether or not it's losing its luster. Nay, it really is losing its luster. Right, Disney? Yet, before we get started, for the 61% of you out there that are watching this right now that are still not subscribed, please take advantage of the free subscription offer that is available to you right now down below by clicking on that red button and turning it to gray. And while you're at it, please turn on all the notifications by clicking on the notification bell and turning them all on. See, here on this channel, we don't want you to miss 1 to 4 pieces of content that we drop every single day. And remember, it's absolutely free. And it really does help the channel. And I want to drive us all the way to 100K by the end of this year. And you will be a large part of that. And with that, back to the video. All right, let's start with some cold, hard numbers because that's usually my operational beginning point for anything that I do. And I look at the numbers in the terms of what makes a movie successful, which to me, from the business sense, is always profitability. And yet, Disney's had a lot of failures, a lot of flops recently with things like Indiana Jones, Elemental, that was 2023, and many others. I mean, 2023 was the flop year for Disney. And of course, this year's Mufasa, which is the most recent event any of us can pay attention to. And these were all supposed to be surefire hits, but instead, they became box office flops, or at least they underperformed in a significant way as to not generate nearly enough profit to justify their expense. So that has us arriving at a question. Is Disney's magic fading, or are these just some outliers? Well, let's start first with the box office slump. It's clear that Disney's latest offerings are not resonating with any kind of an audience. There's a palpable shift away from the traditional and more towards the neo-Marxist anti-family, which is making fans feel alienated. And let's not forget their misadventure into streaming. At least it is so far. And of course, that's Disney Plus. That might be a convenient scapegoat, but it's not exactly profitable or inspiring. It's basically been just a giant suck on content that they could have put more effort into and dropped into theaters. The content strategy that they're pursuing seems to be more about meeting quotas than actually quality storytelling, and the quality for that has suffered. But let's dive just a little bit deeper here. You see, Disney has also been accused of employing manipulative marketing tactics, where the trailers are actually promising one thing, and yet the movie is delivering something else. Something entirely different, a bait and switch, if you will, as we've talked about before on this channel. And that bait and switch has left the audience feeling duped or betrayed in some cases. I mean, remember Lightyear? Lightyear was supposed to be presenting itself as a fun, family friendly adventure. And yet, when you got there, there was a bunch of identitarianism and other elements in the film that made people feel uncomfortable, or at least uncomfortable to take their kids to. Also, in no way did it seem to resemble the Lightyear that people were familiar with. They were a little bit off put, especially by the voice not being Tim Allen and was rather Chris Evans, who at that point had really become America's ass, literally. In other words, instead of some wholesome Toy Story spinoff that we all anticipated from Pixar, we got a bait and switch that really has come to personify Disney. It's their new modus operandi, and it's been backfiring spectacularly. And yet, we need to venture beyond the box office because there's more to it than that. Disney's once celebrated franchises, like, well, anything from Marvel or Star Wars, are now being politicized and feminized and oversaturated, pushing out all of the fans who had originally made them iconic in the first place. Meanwhile, their theme parks, if you want to venture into the physical, are getting all the marketing glitz, and yet the real investment in those magical lands, those locations, seem to be lacking at best. The only noticeable things that are being pushed into the parks right now are their lack of value and heavy emphasis on prying more and more money from their customers' wallet. That's you and me. out there, folks. And all of that comes with less and less value. I mean, who remembers when Disney parks were about magic and wonder, about losing yourself in an environment that wasn't encroached on by anything else? It's the whole reason that Disneyland started with a berm and that the Magic Kingdom in Florida preserved that same idea, not interrupting sightlines and not allowing you to see what was around the bend in, let's say, another land. The hub and the spokes and the wheel were all there to keep you separate so that each experience was separated from the other without a lot of encroachment. Now, it seems like they're turning every moment into a profit opportunity and not one about the magical experiences that you were promised in the marketing materials. And let's talk about the simple nature of the guest experience at the parks. The magic there is clearly fading when you're paying premium prices for subpar service and, well, terrible maintenance or a lot of deferred maintenance throughout all their properties. You once felt like royalty there. They really did treat you to those magical encounters. Now you feel like you're in a queue for a cash grab around every single corner. The parks are becoming less about the experience and more about extracting all the dimes and dollars that you have with you. And I know I've said that twice now, but that really is the sensation that you get when you were going to Disney. Take a trip down I-4 in Florida and discover something new at Universal, where everything seems to have more value than what is required, and you don't feel like you're being taken for every dollar you have. So let's ask this question. Is it really the loss of magic? Well, Disney's magic has always been about nostalgia. It's driven off of the things that you experience, a tug of emotion from your heart. It's always been about the things that you want to recapture or at least share with the next generation. But now they have quite the myopic focus on direct consumer content and chasing the ghost of the modern audience. They're missing the mark from beginning to end, and their push for DEI has actually influenced much of what we experience, not to mention the fact that they are being influenced by financial behemoths like BlackRock and others. This has led to radicalized remakes and identitarian storytelling, which, let me tell you, rather off putting. Both of those things clearly have backfired spectacularly, and it's like they've forgotten who their core audience is. The people that love timeless tales, not political lectures, the people who are bringing their family to an experience, whether it's a film or a theme park. They want to preserve that kid's innocence and maybe recapture some of their own by revisiting something timeless and classical and traditional and full of moral value. Don't think we have any of that at Disney right now. So, what do? We always try to look ahead to see what's around the next corner. And Disney's juggling act between its rich legacy and contemporary demands of the influential folks like BlackRock are creating a moment of falter. They're faltering. They've got to remember that the family values and the pro American ethos that Walt Disney himself stood for, and of course pushed against communism, socialism, all the other badisms, they need to rise like he did and demand traditional storytelling within their own organization. And they need to stop ignoring trends that really have been putting the company in peril for quite some time now. They need to rekindle the flame of pure storytelling that focuses on adventure and courage and the triumph of good over evil without the heavy-handed political commentary or without deconstruction that tries to make the villain the good guy, because that's not what we're about here in the United States or in the Western world as a whole. You see, the future of Disney is split. It could go one way or it could go another. And looking into 2025, with Marvel's offerings expecting to be rather lackluster and with no Star Wars movies in sight, and that's probably a good thing to be fair, Disney's future looks more than murky. There's hope. There's hope if they can pivot away from identity politics and get back to the heart of what made them great. They might just recapture um, some of that lost magic. Disney surely has the resources to do that. They have the history to do that. And they certainly have brand recognition to do this. But they need to listen to their core audience and not to the boardroom in a company like BlackRock, Blackstone, or any of the other financial pushing companies. And with that, let's leave it right there. With at least for me right now, it's time for audience participation. That's all about you. What do you think? Is Disney too damaged to turn back? Is Disney able to make enough changes to fall in line with its money spending family audience, which it seems to have abandoned, or maybe even has come to disdain, dislike, hate? Or are they stuck behind poor leadership, incapable of recognizing that their politics are muddying up great family entertainment and a family brand and filling it up with propaganda? Let me know in the comments section down below what you think. And of course, obviously, like, comment, and subscribe for more of the no holds barred analysis that we bring here about the entertainment industry. And let me know if you think Disney really can turn the ship around or if they're destined to be another cautionary tale in Hollywood's history books. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya for real.